Well, hello and welcome everyone. This is Sherry Weller and Kim Miles, the Savvy Sisters, and we are so excited today to bring you a special broadcast. So you've got the Savvy Sisters and you've got the Flip Flop CEOs. And so I'm so excited for you all to meet Lori and Janine. Kim and I have known Lori and Janine for almost 14 years and have just loved watching their journey and being on this network marketing journey with them. And really, one of the reasons why Kim and I started the Kiss Corporate Goodbye is to elevate the network marketing profession. And Lori and Janine have done a very similar thing with their Flip Flop CEO and Does a Shoe Fit books. So we just really wanted you to meet them. And Lori and Janine, I would love for both of you just to introduce yourselves, share a little bit about your backgrounds and your stories because they're so different, and how you both got into network marketing.
Okay, thank you for doing this. So it kind of starts with Lori. Yes, and are you guys getting the same feedback as ours?
No.
Oh, good. Okay, so we'll try to just not hear it. So I'm Lori, I'm the daughter, and I started this whole journey actually right after college. Can you can hear?
Yeah.
You can hear the dog, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
Okay, he'll be. Jay might have to be part of this. I am so sorry. This is what happens in life. So basically, right after college, I had started a career in. Well, I don't even know if it was a career. It was a job, and it was right after college, and I was miserable because I had envisioned my life looking a certain way and thought it was going to be full of freedom and flexibility and money. And apparently it was kind of a shock when I got into corporate America and discovered there wasn't a lot of freedom. There wasn't a lot of income, especially to start out. And I just was like, there's got to be another way. And I would talk to my friends, and they all seemed pretty resigned to the fact that this is the way life works. And I would talk to my mom, and she was definitely resigned to the way life works and told me to suck it up and just deal with it and get to work, really. And that was kind of what everybody said, was just get to work. And, you know, life kind of sucks like that. You just do it. And I wasn't buying it. There's just no part of me that really believed that that's the way it had to be. And I went from one position to another job, and I just really discovered, I don't know if it's me or them, but it's not working for me. So
meaning what wasn't working is going to work from 8:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday.
Right. Waking up to an alarm clock, driving through traffic, wearing clothes that I didn't want to wear. Those weren't comfortable. And you know, being with people that I didn't get to choose to be with. So I definitely thought there had to be another way. So I kept my eyes wide open. I was hungry for something different. And mind you, I was still only, I don't know if I was 22, 23. And then I think right after I turned 24, I discovered the concept of network marketing. And my degree in college was marketing. So I could not believe that I had never heard of network marketing, but I thought I was highly qualified because of my degree. And little did I know that this thing had such heavy, just different misconceptions about what this was and what this wasn't, and so much history that I didn't even know about. And people were resistant to this concept that I found to be so brilliant immediately. I just saw the brilliance immediately. So I went home, told my mom, I don't have to do corporate America anymore because I have found what we're going to do. And I told her it was called network marketing. And she just stopped right there and didn't want me to go any further, and was probably the most resistant that I've ever seen anyone be to this topic. So you go ahead.
Yes. And so the reason I was most resistant is because I had someone try to recruit me into a company 35 years ago in a way that used to be, I think, the way people were taught. It was the bait and switch. I was invited over to someone's house for dinner, and when I got there, there were a lot of other cars parked out front. I walked in, there were all these other people, and it was a business presentation. And I was so really just turned off to the way the whole thing was done that I wanted nothing to do with it. And I really thought that over my dead body, will I ever be involved in this business? And then after a year of us really having a battle over it, I mean, I couldn't support Lori in it because I really was trying to protect her from it. I thought that she was so naive. She didn't really understand that she was getting into one of those things. And I thought, you know, it doesn't work. And that the only reason her friend wanted me to be involved and to meet me is because it would benefit her. I had this perception of it being the way I think a lot of people still do, that that one person or the person above you is the one that makes all of the income and that you do all the work. And so I just really didn't want anything to do with that. And then after us really disagreeing for about a year, I happened to read a book that absolutely made the light switch go from off to on for me. It was just that fast. I really got a completely different perception of what the business is really about. And it made me realize not only did I want to do it, I felt like I was born to do it because I love sharing things that I believe in. And I just really felt like, oh my gosh, we have found the best kept secret way to earn an income. And there are so many people out there that are looking for this. So from then on, you know, I jumped in with Lori and we built our businesses together and just had a really incredible journey.
So what was it, Janine, in the book that kind of made that light switch go on? Like what sort of did you go, oh, I get it now? Because I think most people think very similar to you who are in corporate that they're never going to be able to replace their full-time income, that it's just a little side thing where people make a couple hundred here and there. What did you read that you're like, oh, I get it?
Yes. I think so my experience before, and this is what my perception of network marketing was, that it was a lot of big kind of raw rallies. It was having a bunch of people continuously in your home. It was constantly trying to recruit more and more people. And it was really about just kind of anybody that's breathing, you kind of go after. And it was kind of the way that I perceived it being done is that you just recruited everyone and that was an ongoing thing that you'd be doing for the rest of your life kind of thing. And, you know, that was not at all of interest to me. And what I learned in the book that really shifted the perception was that it's really about quality versus quantity. And I think a lot of people still do it the old way where you just stick, you know, throw a bunch of things up against the wall and a few stick. And instead, it was about really looking at the people that you know, and is there anybody else that is trying, that needs to find a solution, that is looking for a way to replace their corporate income, or they just had a baby, they don't want to go back to work, or whatever it is that they're looking for, that this was a solution. And I thought, out of all of the people that I know, do I know a few people that fall into that category, and that once I sit down with them and they understand the way this works, that will want to join me on this journey? And that the way you get to, you know, having thousands of people as a part of your network is not by me going out and talking to 1,000 people or constantly, you know, trying to find more and more people. That it was just, it's really a mathematical equation, and there is this system and a plan that if you really come into it that way and look at it from that perspective, it completely changes everything. It changes the activity that you're going to be in.
Mm-hmm. And Laura, you kind of saw it right away. So what did you see in like that? How was this different than your corporate world?
You know what? So I would say if you're already super successful in corporate, I think this is a no-brainer. For me, there was a little bit of a learning curve around, sorry. Of course, there's
The mailman.
oh my gosh. What are the odds that the mailman has to deliver something right to the doorstep? So for me, there was a learning curve around being self-directed, and working from home was a huge shift. But as far as, I mean, oh my gosh, what made so much sense to me was being in control of the business that I wanted to bring, you know, as far as, and the freedom to decide, looking at the compensation plan, that I could choose how I built that. There wasn't one way to build it. And I could do it in a way that worked for my schedule, for my skills, what I enjoyed doing. And then you build a team around what other people enjoy doing. And I feel like I've always said, like, you know, I have weaknesses and I have different strengths. And so to partner with people that have different strengths and weaknesses. And my mom and I, prior to finding out about network marketing, we had talked about doing a job share, because we realized that the two of us don't always like doing the same things. And so if there's one job, you can't really share that typically, but in this business you can. I mean, if someone loves being out there and talking to people, and one person, you know, loves kind of the detail and the background, I feel like you can really actually work well together. So we, coming together, really discovered that we could bring our strengths and benefit more and leverage that. I think it's all about leverage. And that was what was so different from corporate. There was no leverage. It was all you, 100% you, good and bad. And so I just loved the concept. I think leverage was the most exciting thing for me.
And if I could just add, I think the other exciting thing for you is the fact that you could make as much money. I think the challenge for Lori when she first got started right out of college and was making $60,000 a year, you know, she just thought, I'm worth $600,000. I don't want to accept $60,000.
Because I think we all are. I mean, I think if you really tap into your own potential and your own power, we're all, you know, worth that much. I really do believe. I didn't think I was just entitled to that. I thought everybody.
I didn't think you felt you were entitled. I think you really felt like you were worth it. And the challenge with most jobs is that we accept a certain amount of money, and that, you know, we hit that ceiling and we really can't go over it. Or if we are in sales and we're on straight commission, you know, if we do too well, it seems like they try to find some way to either add another person or, you know, there's always something that's changed. And this is, you know, I think the unlimited income potential plus the fact of not having to get up to an alarm clock every day.
Awesome.
We're pretty darned much what Lori perceived as being perfect.
Freedom and money. Those are my two things, freedom and money. And I mean, I've discovered over the years, like, connection is incredibly important to me. And, you know, being a great example to my kids and leaving a legacy and all of that. But I didn't get that when I was 24. I mean, I really was freedom and money. And those are still up there. I mean, I really value freedom and fun and money. And now it's connection, and there's more, you know, more values there, but that comes with age.
And one other thing I would say that you two can probably really agree on is the fact that you get to choose who you're on the journey with. I mean, you know, one of the things that I hated about corporate America is that I would have to, you know, I lived for weekends or vacations so that I could spend the time with my family and with my daughters, and, you know, just being able to be with the people that you care about on the journey is just invaluable to me.
Oh, that's awesome. And you're absolutely right. I mean, all of those things that you talked about, the freedom, the flexibility, the the financial opportunity, choosing who you work with. Those are the reasons why people jump into network marketing. And I think there are a lot of misconceptions about what this is. And, you truly have to serve others in order to get to the top of any company. And it truly is different than corporate. So my question would be, what would you recommend to somebody who is in corporate America right now, who is successful, wants to take a look at entrepreneurship, but just doesn't know how to escape because they're really trapped by those golden handcuffs? What advice would you give to somebody who wants something different but doesn't know how to get it?
I think, one of the coolest stories I know about that is Kim's story. I think the cool thing about this business is that you can do it alongside of what you're currently doing and continue doing that forever if you want to. But, even if you absolutely love what you're doing, but what the additional income gives you is the freedom to do anything on your own terms. So not to get too off on a tangent, but I would say that I would read the Flip Flop CEO. I would read Does the Shoe Fit? The Does the Shoe Fit is a sequel to the Flip Flop CEO. And the Flip Flop CEO is really to address every single myth that most people have. I mean, there are a lot of misconceptions out there, and most people just have not updated their beliefs. And network marketing is kind of a tough thing to really get a clear picture about, because there's still myths, there are still people that are doing it all wrong and continue to give it a bad reputation, and a bad image.
Just to validate, I mean, you had a real experience that was negative.
Right.
So not to say they're all myths. I mean, really, a lot of the conception, the misperceptions around this is their own experience of it. So we also want to accept what's actually going on too, and then show a different way, because anybody can join this business. So I just want to say it's not all myths. Some of that, it is kind of a circus sometimes. People that you wouldn't really want to align with are doing this business.
But that's the same way as life.
Yeah.
I mean, if you kind of go any place and you look at all the people that are out there, not everyone shows up in the same way.
Exactly.
So this business is no different. And it's sad to me for a smart, savvy businesswoman to turn over her decision to do this or not do this based on the way somebody else is doing it.
Exactly.
That person doesn't do their job the same way that most of the people out there would do it.
And they don't pay your bills, so why do you care what they're doing?
We bring who we are into this business big time, the same way we would do with anything. And so what I would encourage anyone to do is just educate yourself. Make sure that you understand what you're saying no to before you say no, because a lot of people are throwing away this opportunity based on other people's perception, without really getting their own information so that they can make an informed decision. So the Flip Flop CEO is just a straight, very simple, easy to read, girlfriend to girlfriend type book that will talk about every single one of the negative perceptions about this business. And Does the Shoe Fit is really written to bridge the gap between any other kind of job and network marketing, because they are two completely different worlds. One is very competitive. It is, you have to be looking out for yourself. It's such a different world. And, there is a ceiling on what you can earn, and you do have to work with people that maybe you don't want to work with. And a lot of times you feel smarter than the person you're working for. Network marketing is completely different. It's a level playing field, and but it's not something that people are going to understand. When I first got into network marketing, I'm ashamed to say that I had that competitive edge to what I was doing, because it was what I had been doing for the past 30 years. So I didn't even understand how to kind of be in this world. So the Does the Shoe Fit will really talk about some of those things. How do you choose a company? How do you know what the right fit for you is? How do you know if your skills will transfer? So there are stories from people from many different careers, and really they're answering questions about how this career, how network marketing compares to being a nurse or an attorney or a flight attendant, you know, all of these different kinds of typical careers. So both, I think, are going to help somebody really be able to make an informed decision.
Awesome. Oh, go ahead, Sherry.
And I was just to say, I'm so glad you mentioned the books, because both those books are two of my favorites. And my question, and then Kim can ask the question as well, what compelled you to write the books in the first place? Because you're both busy, you know, doing life, being parents, doing, you know, having your own business. What was it that made you say, okay, we need this information out there?
You know, it was absolutely because I think it is just a tragedy how many people do not understand this business. And to continue to just allow that to go on, to me, is crazy. I mean, and there are a lot of books out there about network marketing, but most of them are written really about network marketing. They're for people that have already gotten into network marketing. There was nothing out there that was completely, that meets the skeptic where they are. I know what it's like to be skeptical. I was. And just as Lori said, you can't just act like none of those things are true. They are. So let's talk about it from there. Let's acknowledge, you know, all of these things. And there was not another book that was written like that somebody's even going to be willing to invest their time in reading. And so we wanted an objective, unbiased resource. And same way with the second book, there's no book that really compares other careers to network marketing. And I think that's something that's important. That's something I would want to know.
Well, and I think we discovered the power of a simple book after a year. I mean, just to go back, I know we kind of brushed by this, but you guys, seriously, a year of my mom and I battling on this topic, could not see eye to eye, could not see each other's perspective. I saw it was brilliant, and I was right. She saw that, no, I want nothing to do with that over my dead body. And it was a book. After all this talking, we could not talk anymore about this topic, because it always turned to fighting. It always turned to, you know, trying to convince the other who's right. And then it was a book. And I just feel like that, to me, was like, whoa, there's the power of a third party objective perspective to just lay it all out there. And again, acknowledge the experience that people have had along with the truths of what this is and what this isn't. So that's what really drew me to the concept of us sharing not only our story and the two ends of the spectrum, being the dreamer and the skeptic, and coming together and both being successful, and having two totally different skill sets and having two totally different, you know, kind of come-froms, belief systems. And because I thought really anything was possible, and life is supposed to be fun and free and full of money. And my mom came from a little bit harder reality, raising her children and not having this concept. So my point is, the power of a book was so strong. I mean, it literally, I was like, how, after, I think it was like 13 months, so just a little over a year, how did literally 30 minutes of her reading something completely change her mind? And it wasn't me. It was the power of these words and the truth in this book. And so that's why we were compelled to do it. You know, marketing is kind of my background, like I said. And so I wanted to do it. I wanted us to speak in a way that women could actually hear us, and that we could speak like we wanted, whatever we wanted to say to all of our friends that we maybe couldn't say, because there's that barrier of, you know, whatever it is, whatever dynamics are between you and your family members and your friends and the people you care about most. You almost can't say all that you really want to say, but a book can, and it can speak to them in a way that they can actually hear it. So I think that's the power of a book, and that's why we were compelled to do a book.
Well, I love both books, and I love what you both are doing now with the Clarity Movement, and I want to talk about that too. But first, I want to talk about, this industry does have, for some reason, loads of misconceptions. And I mean, you could talk about any industry. There's good lawyers and bad lawyers, good realtors and bad realtors. Every industry has something, but for some reason, this industry has a lot of misconceptions. What would you say are the top 2 myths about network marketing that people think, but it's the exact opposite or totally different? So what are like the top 2 things that you've heard people over the years talk about as, oh, that's one of those things, that's a pyramid scheme, whatever it is? What has been like the 2 things that you'd say you hear the most that aren't true?
I know the top 2 that came up for me.
Well, I was thinking of something, and it was really because of something you said just a few minutes ago, Kim. This isn't really an objection, but it is a really important misconception, and that is that it's a little side thing and that you really can't make very much money at it. And that was one of the things that, was part of my whole way of thinking about this. I mean, I really thought, why are you going to do this to make, $200 to $500 a month? And that is a huge, huge misconception. And the fact that most people think you have to have gotten in early to be in the category of earning more money than that in your business. And that is absolutely not true, which is another reason why I believe this is such a huge opportunity for smart, savvy businesswomen, because they are going to, just like all of us did, find out kind of how to play the game. How do you do this? You don't have to do this the same way that everybody else is doing it. And so those are 2 things that are not really objections, but they're 2 huge misperceptions. Yes. So what are your 2?
Well, it's funny because whenever I would tell someone my position in my company, they would go, "Oh, you must have had to sell a lot of stuff." And so I think people really do think like I am busy selling and selling a lot of products. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, if you only knew me, you would know that couldn't be further from the truth. And it is about working smart and not hard, which I know we've heard that and it's almost cliche now, but truly, just the brilliance of network marketing and not just going 100% direct sales, because I think maybe a lot of people mix the 2 and they don't really get that that's a different type of compensation. And so really to know what your skills are. I knew my skill was not having parties and selling a lot of products. So it was great to find something that actually helped more with when you want to build a team, because again, connection is important to me and working smart, freedom is very important to me. So I was driven by those 2 things. So I think for me, a huge misperception has been, wow, you sell a lot. You must be just busy all day long selling a lot. And I'm thinking, who do you think I sell? Like, where are all these people so quality, not quantity. And then the pyramid, I know you brought that up. Obviously, I don't even think people think that's a misperception anymore. I think they just think, oh, that's the pyramid thing. It's like fact. And so what I think the misconception is in that is that one person sits on top making all the money while all the people down below do all the work. So that couldn't be further from the truth, which I love too. Everybody gets in at the same level. It's a level playing field. And I think for you, that was a big like, oh, you don't want me to just join you so you can be on the top while I do all the work. It's like, wait, I could potentially make more than you. Absolutely. And that happens all the time. And I think that's fair. And where does that happen in corporate? If you have a boss, they pretty much sit on top and they, sometimes they do make you do all the work, or at least they, have a little more power over you, where in this, I had no more power over her. She could do what she wanted with this, and your team can do better than you. And I just think that is totally fair. And so I think the perception is it's unfair. It's a weird way. Like if you get in before someone else, you're definitely going to make more than them. And it's not true. So I love that one just being completely dispelled. trying to think of others, but I think those are the two main
well,
ones.
I think those are, 2, 3, 4 of the top ones that we all hear on a daily basis. And, what I love about, this conversation about your books is that, they are legitimate objections, but when you really start to educate yourself and you learn about how this actually works versus what you think it is, like you found out, Janine, that it's completely different. And that's really the goal of Kim and I. That's the goal I know that you have of, educating people to make empowered decisions. We are not in the convincing business. I mean, we're just trying to convince people to take a look at this to see if it's a fit for them. But we're not convincing people to join our business. We're not convincing people that network marketing is the best option out there. But what we want you to do is to take a look, and if something in your life isn't working, consider network marketing as that option. And what I will do, I thank you both so much for being on today. We will post this video and we'll post all the information for people to get in touch with either one of you. We'll share your books because they are great and valuable resources. And then Kim just touched on the Clarity movement. The Clarity movement, if you want to just talk real briefly about that, and then we'll wrap up. What we would love to do is just kind of combine our communities, people who want more clarity about what network marketing is. We want you to reach out to Lori and Janine. And for people that are in the Clarity movement and want to learn more about how to kiss corporate goodbye, we'd love to share our content with you as well. So if you want to just briefly talk about the Clarity movement, and then we will wrap up.
So the Clarity movement is really a community founded on the premise that we do need to bring clarity to this misunderstood topic. And that serves all of us to really have a better understanding and change the perception. So there are just basically quotes from both of the books every day. Just if someone wants to understand network marketing and what it truly is, just to see it from a different perspective, because when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's what the Clarity movement is about, just bringing clarity to this misunderstood topic. And it's a group that's available for anybody that wants to participate in that.
Fantastic. Well, we appreciate both of you so much. It's been fun being on this journey with both of you. And Kim, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I just think that your worst case scenario is you read their books, maybe you have your aha moment, you take a peek, you get a mentor and you learn more. But I want people to know that, all four of us on this call, we're in corporate America. We all were able to replace, match, and exceed our full-time income working part-time. The four of us couldn't be more different from each other. And so hopefully you can see that anyone can really take hold of this business and make it their own. And that's always our wish for you, that you can live life on your terms and kiss corporate goodbye and really live that life, like Lori said, of freedom and abundance. So that's our wish for you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We love you guys.
Yeah.